You know, doing this for 3 years, every now and then, someone recommends a film that catches you a little off guard, maybe a film that's a little bit of a surprise. And this particular one featured an actor who's usually the comic relief. And in this one, he kind of shined. So the film I'm going to talk about, and it was a pleasant surprise to me, was recommended by at Tamil Stoic, and it is a Tamil film. And the film is, and I didn't write the year down, so I want to get the year right. The film's Mandela, and it came out. Let me see. Let me just look this up real quick. Mandela, 2021. And as I said, the lead in this is Yogi Babu, who I have only seen in comedic roles, really. Usually Second Banana, but Jailer, Jawan, Good, Bad, Ugly, most recently Doctor. In this, he was really good in this, and he wasn't the over the top comedic stuff. Did not do that in this film. Also in the film, Sheela Rajkumar, who was in Jigarthandra Dbl X, Kumbalangi Nights, and Jalikattu. Sangili Murugan, who was in Ratsasan, and Kanna Ravi, who was in Kaithi and Coolie. And the film was directed by Madonne Ashwin, who I don't think I've seen any of the films that they've directed. No factoids because there was none. I looked this film up. I couldn't find anything on it. The only thing that I found kind of interesting as I'm watching the film, the thread of the story, I knew there was a Hollywood film that was very similar to that. And I couldn't remember what it was, so I found it. It's 2000. It's a 2008 Kevin Costner film called Swing Vote. One vote makes a difference. So, no factoids. I'm just going to get right to the review. I'm gonna do something I don't normally do because right now I'm at 3,950 subscribers, and you know my goal is 4,000. So if you do me a favor, if you haven't already, please subscribe, hit the notification button, hit the like button. Costs you nothing, really helps the channel. So let's get to the review. This was a pleasant surprise, and there's been movies like that over the 3 years I've been doing this that kind of sneak up on you, and they're what are they great films? No, but they're fun. They're pleasant to watch. The characters are interesting, and I found this one. I really liked this one, and basically the story, and it's a simple story. There's there's two villages, north and south, and through circumstance, the leader, the president, is incapacitated a little bit. So his sons, born with, he's married to two women, this leader, has two sons, one in the north, one in the south. So they're going to have an election. And when you divide all the votes and pay for votes and do all kinds of funky stuff, it's a tie. And Yogi's character, whose name is Smile, is the one vote that both sides want. And how do they get that vote? And who does he ultimately end up voting for? That's the story. Now, there's a lot more to it, the caste system, because the one thing that was evident, Yogi or a Smile, um, is looked down upon. He can't go into a place and through the front door. He's got to go into the back. He's a barber. He cuts hair. Oh, I shouldn't say a barber because he can color hair. So he's a hair guy. He lives under a tree that he wants to make into a salon, and he's got a sidekick named Sideburn, a 15-year-old kid. They don't respect him. They don't pay him when he does something. Um, they look down on him. And it's his evolution as he realizes they want his vote and they're willing to give him anything to get it. So he takes advantage of that. Now you can, the story, there were no surprises as far as the story went. You beat for beat, you knew it was going to happen. All the stuff they're giving him was going to corrupt him, and then he was going to, have a turn in the right direction. There was a little thing at the end that I wasn't expecting that was actually really, really good. And so that's the story. Now he did not Yogi did not play this for any laughs. Now that's not to say there weren't laughs in it, because there certainly was. In fact, the whole movie starts off with a toilet for the entire village. That and the reason why the leader only made one toilet, he wanted both the North and the South to unify at the toilet. Well, the toilet ends up dividing everybody, so that didn't work. And then the leader ends up having a heart attack or something within the toilet. And it's all the characters, like his sons were kind of bad guys. Yogi throughout the smile. Oh, so how this comes to fruition? He's got no ID. He doesn't even know what his real name is. So with the help of a woman, and that was played by Sheela, her character's name was then Mosey. She gets him an ID and a voter ID, so he can vote in this election. And the name he picks is Nelson Mandela, hence the name of the film, Mandela. And so what it ends up doing I love the way they did this. So as a result of them chasing his vote, and there's a lot of stuff that happens. I'm not going to go into it all. There's a lot of stuff that happens to get that vote. Some of it very funny. But ultimately, he kind of sees the errors of his way because his friend Sideburn gets hurt bad to the point that he's almost dying. And he now uses the fact that they'll give him anything for the vote to make the village better, more up to date, build a school, rebuild the toilet, get electricity, get lights going. And the way they framed the film, which I loved, after the election, because they don't even tell you who wins, which is hilarious. But it opens with the sign of the village, all dilapidated and rotten. And it shows the municipality of Sorangudi Urach. That's how it opens. And then the closing shot, after all the good that happens for the village, both the North and South, the camera pulls back, and now you've got this beautiful, pristine sign announcing the village and the municipality. And what it's painted, it looks brand new. And the reason why they cut it off before you know who won the election is because it's the village that won. The village advanced a little bit with all the work that was done around it. So I thought, I really loved it. Now, there were some scenes that I loved. And the first scene that I really loved was when he's coming up with his name. Because they keep offering these different names, including like actors who I'm familiar with now, that I got that joke, right? But ultimately, and he holds up, I think it was a letter with a stamp with Nelson Mandela's picture on it. And that's why he wants to go by Mandela. And I thought that was a really cute scene, and all three in it play it really well. And there's another scene where the village realizes that Mandela can now vote. Actually, Smile. Actually, they call him Smile and Jackass for the first part of the film, okay? But now they know he is the deciding vote. So he sleeps in a hammock up in a tree. And it's a very funny scene where you see it from up above looking down. You see him in the hammock, and you've got the north and south villagers on either side of him trying to wake him up, right? They call him Smile first. Now they both start calling him Mandela. And then they help him off the hammock by letting him a car they would not let him into because he's lower caste. They let him go on the roof of the car to not hurt himself coming off the hammock. I thought that was a really funny scene. I like that a lot. And then the last scene that I really liked. So he goes back to the one of the brothers. I would say the more evil brother, and they beat him up because he's been taking advantage of him. He really did. He did take advantage of him, right? So they beat him up and they lock him in. It was, I think, like a barn. It wasn't a barn, but that's what it reminded me of. They lock him up, and outside, and they want to kill him. So the other brother shows up and says, "Look, he's got to vote. You can't not have him vote. He's got to be there because there's 30 crore riding on this." And that's the other thing why they want this so bad to be in power, because there's a developer who's going to give him 30 crore if it happens. Well, unbeknownst to them, Yogi, who's locked up, or Mandela, overhears it. So now they walk in, and it's a great scene. He's sitting like this, like looking at him with a little smile on his face. And now he knows he's got the upper hand on these two because of how much money is involved. And that was, for him, that was a bit of a triumph against the guys that have been so mean to him. And that's when he uses it to make the village better. So those were three great scenes that I really, really liked. But the story was very predictable. Now, like I always say, that's not a criticism, but it was very predictable. The only thing that wasn't was all the things he did for the village at the end. I wasn't expecting that. I thought when he rebuilt the toilet, that was going to be it. But he did all this other stuff. So I'm going to give the story a 6. It was solid. Now, the performances. It's one of these movies that it's a quiet movie. It's a slow burn. It's nothing like Bollywood over the top. None of that stuff. And Yogi himself was very reserved in this film. Like the best way I can describe it is like he played a real character. Where in some of the movies, the character he plays is just comic relief. It's not a real person. In this, it was a real person. When his friend got hurt, the emotion of that. When he's getting beat up, and he finally is getting respect because they want his vote, but he doesn't care because he just wants respect. And the girl who helps him, who felt a little betrayed. In fact, there's a scene, a pretty powerful scene, where she tells him to kill himself. And he contemplates it. And that's when, because the women can't use the toilet. They have to come out at night to go to the bathroom. And that stops him from killing himself. And that's what leads him to doing the right thing for the villagers. So I thought he was wonderful in this. Very, very surprising. And let's be real. He's not a typical leading man. That's the fact, right? But I love the performance in this, and all the side characters, of this quirky little village that they live in was really, really good. The North and the South trying to do the right thing. It was never, there was a couple scenes where he's getting beat up, but it was never really, like there's a scene at the end. In fact, my wife watched the last third of the film, and they're sent, once the vote is done, the brothers send people to kill him. And the way they shoot it is his little tree is at a fork in the road, which represents the North and the South, right? And the killers are on either side, but they don't even see each other. And I said to my wife, I go, let me tell you what's going to happen. The whole village is going to show up and save him. And sure enough, the whole village shows up. So now, they're protecting this guy, and now he feels like he's part of the village where he didn't before. So I really thought that was cool. So I'm going to give the performances an 8. I thought they were really, really solid, and mostly because of him. Pleasantly surprised. Now the music, and typical of Tamil, Malayalam, they're not big musical numbers. So the first song, and I think I got the names of these right, and if I don't, I apologize. But the song is "Our Village Is a Paradise." It's Oru Nidi. The second song is Yella Yellow, after he gets his name and he's getting his IDs. Most of the songs were montages of things that were happening. The third song, I think it's the theme, Mandela, with both the North and South want to vote so that they'll give him anything. And again, that's a montage of all the stuff that they're giving him, and he's asking for. He's playing both sides. And they do this one thing where he says, who are you going to vote for? If I do this, will you give me your vote? And he would go, he'd look, and then he'd pause, and he goes, I haven't decided. And he does that throughout the whole film. And then the fourth song is actually as his sidekick Sideburn, he thinks is dying, and he's really worried about him. So the music was fine. There were no big numbers. It fit. There was some cute music that fit with kind of the simplicity of the village, I guess is the way to put it. But it didn't help. It didn't hurt. That's how I look at it. It was a 5. Overall, I'm going to give this movie a 7. This was a feel-good movie. It wasn't overly long. And I liked it. So I'm going to give it a strong 7. And I really liked Yogi in this. So I thought that was excellent. So thank you, Tamil Stoic. What a nice surprise. Every now and then one of these comes up. And I always like when I'm surprised by some of these films. Not what I expected, as I said in the beginning, but really enjoyed it. Okay? Do me a favor. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section if you've seen it. Did you like it? What are your thoughts on it? I'm really interested, okay? So that's it. I asked you at the beginning. I'm going to ask you again because I'm getting very close to 4,000. If you haven't already, please subscribe, hit the notification button, hit the like button. Again, important, hit the like and leave a comment. Oh, here. No, that's better. Comment, okay? It makes a difference in the algorithm. That's all I'm going to say. I say it all the time. But that's it. We'll talk to you soon on John Talks Indian Cinema with another movie review, a song reaction, or a trailer reaction. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.